Diligent Data, promoting equity, accountability, and engagement through flexible cataloging structures and digital collections, presented at the Visual Resources Association on September 28, 2023, by the Public Art Archive team, Lori Goldstein and Allison Verplates. Since the Public Art Archive's inception in 2010, its mission to make public art more public has guided the program's growth into the largest active database of public art in the world, with almost 22,000 records representing work from over 12,000 artists. Records spanning lived experience, geographic boundary, theme, and work type are contributed by public art organizations and artists and united into a centralized, freely accessible engagement portal where street artists are presented alongside prolific sculptors and ephemeral experiences alongside traditional monuments. PAA's interactive mapping technology and advanced searching capabilities make discovering public art easier and more accessible than ever, whether users are at home or on the go. As more artists aspire to enter the field of public art, established creatives look for new ways to increase visibility, and public art administrators seek tools to engage the public with their collections. PAA's goal is to collaboratively cultivate the essential digital space for bringing artists, administrators, and enthusiasts together by providing ample free resources to generate opportunities for discovery and amplify the visibility of public art and its network of creators. The Public Art Archive's goal is to be the essential resource for discovering and learning about public art. We plan to capture, catalog, and present a comprehensive, definitive database of public art that is current, accurate, authoritative, user-friendly, and freely accessible, what we like to think of as the IMDb of public art, because there's something there for everyone, from industry professionals to the most casual users, and the site itself is engaging and incredibly simple to use and find information. Here's a very quick breakdown of our suite of public art product and services offerings. We offer a public art database and a public engagement portal. All of these artworks are also discoverable from our device-responsive site, meaning our portal is optimized for desktop, tablet, or mobile viewing, all from one site where no app downloads are necessary. We also offer and manage a web-based collection management system for organizations that manage public art collections and need a back-end system in which to do so. And we offer a suite of more customized collection engagement tools, such as landing pages, collection-specific maps, and special projects or virtual exhibitions. Here you can see a quick snapshot of our public engagement portal and how it works. This constitutes what we'll refer to as our front end. In January of 2023, we deployed an extensively redeveloped new version of our site. We focused heavily on increased user-friendliness to increase user engagement, sustain the amount of time people spent exploring the site, and bring wider visibility to the world of public art. We also focused heavily on ensuring that our site was usable for audiences with knowledge of public art, as well as those who knew very little about the field and what they might be interested in. Currently, our digital archive encompasses over 22,000 works of art, as well as almost 60,000 images and other media items associated with those artworks, such as streaming video content, PDFs, and so forth. The database includes over 12,000 artists and 14,000 public art locations. Each artwork is cataloged following a consistent set of data standards and terms to make the ability to search across the database seamless and user-friendly. Using different shapes and visual languages, we have created multiple paths to get to data via artists and collections, as you see pictured here, as well as placement types, materials, and work types. So if, for instance, someone is looking for artwork examples in plazas or artworks made with LEDs, they could easily arrive at search results. All facets are easily searchable on our user-friendly web app, accessible at a link, meaning no app downloads are necessary, and can be used at home on your desktop, at work on your laptop, or out and about on your phone. All search results and individual artwork records are presented alongside interactive maps that can guide users to the artwork sites, heavily used for self-guided tours. In the example above, you can see a snapshot of Austin's municipal collection alongside an artwork record. In the public art world, municipalities are the most popular administrators, managers, and commissioners of public art, as their funding generally comes through percent for art policies mandated in city code. And although we are a repository for all public art data, our infrastructure allows users to search and explore by particular collection, which is of major interest to the organizations we work with who want to promote their standalone collections. For artists, the Public Art Archive acts as a field-wide accompaniment to their standalone websites. Users can see their artworks as part of a larger collection and can utilize our mapping feature to see the geographic reach of an artist or studio's public art portfolio. Beyond looking specifically at particular collections and artists and other concept authorities, PAA is especially unique because it also allows users to explore artwork from an aerial view, without collection distinctions, in much the same way that public art is experienced by members of the public who are unaware of collection distinctions between artworks and overlapping geographic boundaries. Here, I'm showing a screenshot of public art in Denver, and you can see where Arts and Venues Denver, the city and county's public art program, the state of Colorado's collection, and the regional transportation department's collections overlap. By functioning in this way, we can produce powerful visual imagery and reports of artworks across particular regions, counties, states, and so forth to offer broader views of public art while creating experiences for the public that are not limited to singular collections. Our backend, the PAA collection management system, as we call it, has a distinct technical infrastructure from our front end and acts as the central repository of data. We generate income through licensing this web-based software to organizations that manage public art collections to document and manage their collection and all of the work that goes into anything from commissioning through conservation. Organizations that subscribe to our system retain the benefit of our hosting, maintenance, and support for this service, and they can push data directly to our public engagement portal. This is especially beneficial for public art professionals who often do the job of many people with little staff and resources and need a one-stop shop for data management and public engagement. Essentially, we can help reduce redundant workflows by providing digital tools for collection and project management at the same time as providing the public engagement functionality. Here's a snapshot of what the backend collection management system looks like. We build off of Collection Space's system and steward what is called the public art profile. What that means essentially is that we work directly with the developers of Collection Space's team, which is a program of lyricists, which some of you may be familiar with if you work in libraries, especially, to develop new features and functionality for those using the system to manage public art collections, which are very distinct from fine arts collection and historical artifact collections. We leverage a community framework in which we work directly with our clients in the field to better understand their needs, develop them through wireframing, testing, etc., and then deploy them to all of the organizations we work with so that everyone benefits from others' needs. Unlike our backend, our front-end engagement portal is entirely our own enterprise system, built with custom development. And while it's fun and exciting to build something like this from the ground up, Every change we make requires two considerations, the back end and the front end, which can be challenging at times. Beyond the engagement portal and the CMS, we are always interested in ways to cull the data for storytelling. We developed a series of digital exhibitions and special projects that we customize and build in collaboration with organizations, researchers, scholars, and curators that need or want a digital component to public art exhibitions or necessitate a way to digitize and preserve a past project or program. Projects such as these allow us to collaborate with a wider range of specialists while leveraging our own data infrastructure to allow for public art storytelling and delve into narratives that demonstrate impact.
Before we dive into the more critical and complex sides of the Public Art Archive and the heart of the presentation, we thought it would be useful to explain how we get all the data that's in the Public Art Archive. We accept artwork submissions from either the organizations who commission, own, or otherwise steward the artwork, or the artists or studios who created the work. We operate this way to protect copyright owners under fair use and to make sure we are maintaining the highest quality data we can. We do get questions about why we don't crowdsource in order to build our data set faster, but while we appreciate that method, we believe that protecting the integrity of the artwork through accurate and vetted data is a more significant contribution to the public art field than amassing a large amount of data, some of which may be questionable. We also want to appeal to a variety of audiences and ensure that PAA is a valuable resource that can be used as a tool for anything from academic research to wayfinding, journalism, and data analytics. It's in this data pipeline space where the tension between technical automation and human-centeredness come up. Our mission to make public art more public, accessible, and engaging for wide-ranging audiences, alongside our goal to continuously grow our inventory at a rapid rate while ensuring our data is authoritative, presents numerous challenges that can be in conflict with one another. Growing rapidly necessitates automation. If we want to grow bigger, faster, we need to take some of the bottlenecks out of our workflow, namely ourselves and our vetting process. However, to ensure accuracy, we believe that human-centeredness of the project is what makes it sustainable and meaningful as a data source that can incite interest and promote stewardship, even positive change in public art. As a central repository, one advantage we have is that we don't have to author the cataloging records of the artworks in our database. That's done for us by the contributors. On the other hand, we have to unify and reconcile data from thousands of sources that bring their own internal processes for documentation to the table. We know our data is best presented in a unified format, but we work with so many collection administrators with different priorities and mandates who want to see different data on the front end and catalog differently on the back end. Sometimes there are also glaring discrepancies between an organization's data for an artwork and how an artist presents their own work. For example, we've heard from artists who want to remove their early works from the archive so that only their best body of work is available for viewing, while organizations want to use the archive to document all the works from their collection. It's also important for us to reconcile authorities across collections, and different collections may spell artist names differently, use a middle name, perhaps use a given name for a street artist who goes by a moniker or vice versa. And we work to mediate all these issues to ensure we can optimize searchability, discoverability, and accuracy. Another reason we are intentionally human-centered and don't default to automation. All these data concerns bring us to another challenge. While we pride ourselves on being an authoritative database, we also want to expand the audience of public art, particularly to attract the public. We want to make sure we're innovating with new ways to garner interest from new audiences. So we want to present data in ways that are fun and genuinely engaging. And sometimes these two ideas of rigid data and engagement conflict with one another. With all these challenges, we embrace our position in the gray area between standardized infrastructure and flexible, fun, exciting public engagement. We're contending with a variety of contributors sending divergent data while trying to establish best practices for cataloging and leveraging digital space for the promotion of public art. In our field, widely adopted centralized resources are rare, so we're able to pave the way on conceptualizing best practices, which we're able to do in direct collaboration with a number of organizations commissioning public art on the ground. As database administrators, we're fortunate to be in a position where we can influence and change our cataloging infrastructure to respond not only to challenges, but also to the current priorities of the field. This is where our challenges become opportunities. So while we are committed to operating within the field's standards for classification for art objects, using controlled vocabularies, having minimum data requirements, etc., we aspire to be flexible and adaptable in our cataloging structures to ensure we're capturing data points that reflect the evolving nature of the field and that are relevant to the questions being asked in public art today. We're really proud to work with organizations who are committed to the ethos of public art as a public good, who want to make their practices more equitable and transparent, and we're committed to collaborate with them to develop the tools to allow them to present hard data to advocate for change in their programs. So with this in mind, our guiding question is, how can our digital collections move beyond static inventories to become dynamic tools that act as accountability measures, stewardship opportunities, and portals for public engagement? Our goals in addressing this question are to capture relevant data as the public art field evolves, empirically answer questions about public art collections, and to create resources and opportunities for advocacy in the field. One concern circulating the field right now centers on who and what constitutes the public in public art, whether that be the placement of artworks around a city, demographic analysis, or just generally bringing these collections of free, accessible artworks and people together more closely. Public art advocates' messaging often includes that public art is integral to its environment in a city, region, transit system, or other area. It's not only iconic and gives a place identity, but it's important and vital to thriving communities. Responsible stewards of collections today, as well as public artists, approach their work with a great sense of responsibility toward public space and a knowingness that public art's role is to benefit, reflect, and uplift the community of people who experience it. One major way we examine public art collections' relationship to their cities and environments is through our mapping infrastructure. Each of our 22,000 artworks is precisely geolocated on our interactive maps, which integrate with Google Maps and provides walking, driving, and public transit directions directly to the artwork sites. In this way, we are, at least at this very basic level, working to eliminate this baseline barrier to access by making it easy for people to find and navigate to works of art in the places they live and visit. Public art is inherently free to experience without a fee, but the barriers to experiencing public art for many people often begins with access to information on where it is located. This factors into our mission to underscore that, particularly, of course, with municipal collections, public art really does belong to its community. Truly, their tax dollars fund these artworks, and we want people to feel empowered to take ownership, enjoy the art, don't enjoy it and get involved to make changes, but nonetheless to know it's their right to participate in and influence this part of civic life. On the administrative and advocacy side, maps can be powerful tools for visualizing public art's impact in a city or region. One case study, this map shows the public art collection of the city of New Haven, Connecticut. The teal pins and bubbles represent artworks, and the red outline represents the downtown district of the city, a tourist hotspot in that it encompasses downtown and the Yale University campus and consists of a highly transient population. This downtown district contains 97 artworks, or 44% of New Haven's total collection, in just this one of the city's 20 neighborhoods. From this, we can draw the conclusion that in the outlying areas of the city, where the permanent population and taxpayer base lives, is benefiting much less from public art in their neighborhoods. In many cases, Percent for Art programs dictate that new artworks are placed on the site of capital development projects, which do often occur in downtown or tourist-heavy areas. But visualizations like this can be a powerful tool for advocates who want to influence policy changes that might more equitably distribute public art throughout a city's neighborhoods. Along the same lines, collections that submit their data to PAA are offered a few flexible fields where we suggest assigning district or neighborhood information for each artwork site, allowing them another way to analyze how their art is distributed amongst demographics in the city, and then use that data to advocate for policy changes that could expand the impact of their program to the entire city population. Beyond mapping, another question of importance in the field is, how can we advance equity within public art collections? And for us at PAA, how might our products and services support efforts towards this goal? This is an area where we've really had to contemplate how we can contribute to advancing equity as a repository and collection management system administrator. We're collaborating with a number of organizations who want to increase their accountability measures when it comes to who is represented in their collection. There have always been questions and even criticism around the idea of non-local artists creating site-specific artwork for a community that is not their own. But especially within the last few years, we're seeing demands for data surrounding who is making public art. Are they approaching art making from different cultural backgrounds, identities, etc.? How many local artists are given work opportunities through the public art program? And do the artists of our city's public art collection reflect the residents of our city? These questions are super complex, but to begin to be able to answer them in an objective, data-driven way, in our collection management system, we have been able to develop some new data capture fields that we're calling the maker-supplied identity information. This set of fields is tied to our person authority record and can be recorded for any individual catalog in the database. This enhancement was released in our most recent software upgrade, and we're really excited to start seeing it in action. Organizations will be able to ask their artists, retroactively or in the commissioning process, to answer a number of identity-based questions. Totally voluntary, of course, but if an artist wants to provide information about their race, pronouns, LGBTQI+ status, gender identity, sexuality, birthplace, etc., administrators will be able to collect, analyze, and report on these metrics for the first time. We hope that leveraging this data in reports will help organizations and equity proponents accurately illustrate the level of representation in their collections and will provide a tangible advocacy tool for improved collection practices and addressing gaps in representation. Another priority for PAA is to cultivate and share the context and impact of individual artworks in a way that speaks to our different audiences. This prompt requires us to delve a little further into the why of public art. Why does it matter? Why do these artworks exist? What real impact do they have on our communities? Further, what is the economy surrounding public art? And how are these artworks brought to life? One step we've taken to better demonstrate a more inclusive story of public artworks is to expand our infrastructure and cataloging practices to include and highlight the community of collaborators it takes to create public artworks. In addition to lead artists, anyone who contributes artwork to PAA is encouraged to name any partners, project managers, fabricators, landscape architects, other entities involved in making an artwork come to fruition. This practice illustrates not only community engagement, but it highlights how many jobs and workers are involved in the creation of a public artwork. showcasing the larger creative economy and ecosystem required to make public artworks come to life can help secure funding and garner additional opportunities. Addressing the question of context and impact from a different perspective leads us to another series of questions. When we think about public art, we often focus on permanent experiences, the monuments and sculptures that act as landmarks in public space. But what about artworks that no longer exist? If an artwork disappears in the physical sense, what about its impact? And is it our responsibility to preserve its history? This topic also certainly has implications when it comes to accountability, in particular with the national reckoning with monuments that has been sweeping the public art world the past few years. We look at this issue not just for politically charged removals of artworks, but also for temporary, ephemeral, or deaccessioned works that are no longer in public space. We've implemented a two-step approach here. One small step we've taken is that we've recently updated our cataloging structure to include on-view dates for artworks. This data is reflected on our engagement portal, where our off-view tag and filter have been implemented to preserve access to information about works of art that are no longer available for public viewing. Our work here is ongoing, but we first wanted to develop the technology in our database that could provide a solution for how administrators deal with artworks that have been removed. Collection administrators are concerned about creating confusion, and this way they don't have to worry. The public will be alerted not to visit these sites expecting to see an artwork, but at the same time, they can learn about the artworks or history of the site through the public art lens and have the opportunity to learn why, perhaps, a pedestal in the city center is now empty. In the case of problematic monuments, it's often true that cities want to erase these artworks from the record entirely, and many have done so. We, however, strongly advocate for all our collaborators to keep information about problematic removed artworks available and to offer context, including new points of view on their impact. In this way, the public retains their opportunity to understand how, when, and why artworks transform in meaning over time, and the meaning and context of public art can be preserved and analyzed. We encourage the preservation of these histories, and we hope to be a digital space for learning, understanding, and continued growth in public art through these practices and future developments. As with all repositories, our data is only as strong as our documenters who contribute. We are continuously working to create spaces and to provide resources and advocate for best practices in the field of public art documentation and sharing. Our progress is promising, but sometimes happens at a very measured pace. And when we're faced with the challenges that come with being in our position, our outlook for the Public Art Archive's future centers on the questions of why is this resource important? What is this used for? And how can this impact the future of the public art field? If you're interested in getting involved, you can check out all the ways your institutions, if they house public art collections, can contribute data. We offer import templates, which are essentially robust spreadsheets to help guide you through your public art documentation process, complete with glossaries and vocabularies of terms for things like materials, work types, placements, etc. Sourced from Getty's Art and Architecture Thesaurus and the Library of Congress, as well as terms added over time that are specific to the field of public art. Thank you for taking the time to view this resource, and thank you for helping us make public art more public.